What's up, everybody? It's Jade. We are here at Feywild and Out Twitch channel. I don't know why I specified Twitch. I'm kind of out of practice with this intro. But we're playing some Mass Effect today. We're playing Mass Effect TTRPG, Mass Effect Mirage. Woo! But I will pass it on over to Serenity, our GM, for intros.
Hello, I'm Serenity. You can find me all over the internet as ClickClackSnac. Today I will be the navigator of this fantastic little story that we have and all of the other characters that these people aren't. I go by she, they, her, they, whatever. Next up, Sparrow.
Hello, hi, I am your favorite burb on the interweb. I am aBlackSparrow, co-founder of Feywild and Out. Generally thrilled to be here. I play Kraxar Worq, who is a lovely little grumpy Krogan, and I'm excited to throw it on over to Maz.
Hi, I'm Moz. How are you? My pronouns are she, they. You can find me everywhere. It's Mozzarelle or Mozzarelle with 3 L's here over at Twitch. I'm playing Adrana, Sargas, and they're awesome. Korean pronouns are she, they as well, I think. Yeah. I'm going to toss it over to Daryl.
Hello, I'm Daryl. I use he, him pronouns. You can find me on the internet at Mr._DarrylDorsey or just DarrylDorsey, depending on where you're looking. And it only took 3 episodes for me to be like, I'm gonna flex all night tonight on the show, and not wear sleeves. And I play the only human on the ship, apparently, Darius Okar. And he's just around having a good time.
He's here for a good
And talks
time.
it over. What was that?
I should say he's just here for a good time, and that's all he needs to be here for.
He's just a fun dude, just chilling, just chilling out.
Yeah, and hi all, I'm Jade. I use she, they pronouns, and I will be playing Nyxeris, who uses probably any, but I think I put she, they, or she, or something like that. That's probably her preferred. I'm real excited. At one point, I don't want us to fight something because that means something might have gone terribly wrong. I don't know. I'm just a producer. I don't know what actually is going to happen, but also I think it would be really cool to see. So. Yeah, but we do have a tip jar, a tip to support the cast. We use Pally, so you can use command !tip in the chat to support our lovely cast. We all take a share out of it for just, being cool people, doing some cool Mass Effect stuff. But I will toss it to Sparrow for the content warning.
Hi, I am your favorite burb on the interweb, and I bring you content warnings. Mass Effect Mirage is set in a science fiction setting based on an MA-rated video game. Please enjoy it responsibly. Content warnings for this episode may include violence, weapons, war, organized crime / gang activity, sexual content, genocide in context to the Reapers with organics / talks of the Genophage, drinking, drug use, political espionage / corruption, racism, and rodents. And if you don't know what the Genophage is, feel free to ask. We will happily explain in chat. We do encourage you to step away if at any point this content becomes not enjoyable for you. We are keeping each other safe at the table, and we want you to enjoy safety too. You can use !CW in chat to review our content warnings at any time. That's what I got for you.
Wonderful. Well, we're just going to jump right in. So, everyone had agreed to the council's kind agreement, where essentially you can change your mind if you want, but we're going to wipe your memories if you do. So everyone had agreed to continue forward with their contracts in hand. Each character has been sent their own contracts that they can, agree or agree to disagree on at that point. And the gang found out after being on the Mirage, meeting a bunch of wonderful people, such as a co-pilot, a doctor, a medical man, the AI that runs the ship, and possibly some other people as well, they found a very stunning crew that seems to be very supportive of them and is excited to continue forward. Oh, and also lovely Turian. I'm sorry, I forgot everyone's favorite little armory husband, the old grizzled Turian. But they met all of those characters after they had all settled down. They finally figured out what's going on and what their first job is as ciphers, which is to figure out what's going on the far rim, as there have been just about 300 different ships that have no specific colonies, races, um, storage, anything like that in mind, just seemingly random attacks in the far rim that have been occurring frequently, and they're there to figure out what's going on, as this may be a major threat. Now, let's start with Darius. So, you had sent out a message. The group that you had worked with before, the fourth group, the fourth mercenary group out of Omega, just so everyone has a rundown, because it's fairly common knowledge. Omega is controlled by 4 different mercenary groups. The Blood Pack, most people know about the Blood Pack. It's specifically a far more dangerous, bloodthirsty group, typically held and controlled by Krogans and Vorcha. Not more than those 2, but those are, at least people haven't seen others that are not those 2. The Blue Suns, which is a private security firm, so they are very well put together and typically held together by Batarians. You have Eclipse, which are a major mercenary corporation, huge smugglers, and then you have Nana DeLuna, which is where Darius. That is the group that you were with. It was primarily started by a bunch of humans, but it has expanded since there is no real limitation on who you can be. The goal of Nana DeLuna is to reform Omega back to a one-sector station, where it is not separated by multiple groups, but rather the groups either working together or finding peace in one solitary group, whether that means it's them or whatever things become at that point. You send your message to Nada DeLuna. And if you want to read your message, that would be awesome. So the people on the screen, or
Yes.
on the other side of the screen, can know what you're saying.
Yes. The message reads, I'll do it in his voice. Because, you know what? It'll be a voice message. it'll have a voice attachment to it as well.
Oh my god, we're unlocking the codex entries now. I love that.
Oh, yeah, boy.
Heard there's been some trouble in the terminus system with ships and crews going missing. I just so happen to have been tapped to investigate, and word is the survivors made their way to Omega. I know if the routes are dangerous, that can affect your bottom line. So, if you can get eyes on her, so I can question her quickly, it'll go a long way to getting you all mobile without the dangers. I just need eyes on her and locations. Don't need her being spooked. She's trained, so use your best people. If you're willing to do this for me... Oh, I wrote this and I read that wrong. If you're willing to do this for me, but mostly for you. And then the back end of the message is just a description of the former alliance military that we got a description of, so they can basically get us eyes and ears on where she's going, where she probably hangs out at, so we can just get to her quickly.
Perfect. Yeah, so you give the description. Mira Perdona, she is not, for a human, she's pretty average looking. She has dark hair. She has dark eyes. She has this kind of neutral, lighter skin. But her face is very unrecognizable, which makes it very easy for her to just go and blend at this point. You don't get an immediate response. But as you are all traveling your way to Omega, I'd say you're heading towards the relay to jump towards the system where Omega is. You do get a response back in the form of an audio message back. And you know who it is immediately. The head of the Nada de Luna, who you worked with fairly closely, is an Asari named Candesia Tawels. But she just goes by Caddy. She is not what most people expect her to be. But you hear just a voice going, just go. You hear a pop and a pop and a pop as it starts, and you realize she's chewing gum. And that's not going to stop anytime soon. Yeah, like totally, I can definitely help you out, but you're going to have to come visit me. I don't feel like it's safe to converse over this. So, come find me. Okay, kisses. Bye. And it's very quick, very short. You know her to be a connoisseur of old human media. And very much when you had met her, she had just found the early 2000s. That's kind of where she's stuck at this point.
She just really globbed on the Clueless. Just really stuck with that one.
Liked Clueless.
Just really liked Clueless. Me, I was more of a Tombstone, Justified type of guy. But I like I watch a lot of stuff.
But yeah, so that is the message you get. So she's willing to help you out if you go to their territory. I will say, based off of our conversations, you are, as long as you're not wearing like specific, information showing that you're a part of Nada de Luna, you should be fine walking around. The sector is pretty close to the port of Omega, which is a neutral territory. There's it's one whole sector that is neutral territory for people to enter in and go from. And then from that point forward, people differentiate where they're going. But their territory is, even though it's quarters, I'd say theirs is growing fairly large, and they're at about a 30% of ownership of Omega at this point, but it's not enough to really make a difference.
Right.
But yeah, you now know where your point of information is. Just to verbalize what I've sent to other people, so we do have it. Moz, you are sent the information for your informant, who will be found in Blue Sun's territory.
Sounds good.
Perfect. See here. For you other two, you have money. I hope you like your money a lot.
Nixeris is like already kind of like cataloging it. I imagine that she doesn't go often to Omega for like to spend money. It's usually like a pass through kind of thing, but she's like, oh well, maybe there's probably something for me to, see what they have, so
Okay.
that's where...
You all do receive your first payment.
That was my follow-up question. So glad that was
Yeah!
answered.
Yeah, you receive your first payment for your monthly salary. Hello, capitalism's
Yippee.
still a thing. But as I've told them, and I will tell everyone here, they are fully okay to take bribes, tips, whatever they wish, as long as they're getting their job done and they're not taking documentation or items that pertain to what's important to the job. They can take it, they just have to give it to someone. But was there anything that anyone wanted to do, anyone wanted to talk to, anything you wanted to find before we get to Omega?
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead. Please go ahead.
Oh, in the confines of their room, they would send out a message to Risa. And Risa would know this, but every line has a cipher to it, a code from a book that they only kind of read together or know. But it's very simple. It just reads out, "Hi, my dear. I hope you're well. You know, the food here is delicious. There are a couple of people here that you should know about. My God, you would love to meet them. Oh my goodness, you should talk to Worq when you. Oh my God. Okay, let me write down their characteristics really quickly. They're really funny." And then it goes down the list of like everyone on the ship. But for Risa, it says in code, Omega. Jay. We're close.
I think fairly shortly you do get a response back. Almost, it feels like, you know, when someone's waiting for a text and they really try to seem like they're not just waiting at the phone. It's very much a situation of you get a response back fairly quickly, and overly composed. Um, it has the same mindless jargon that if anyone would read it, it seems like it's a uh, two pen pals, two friends just talking about what's happening. Um, as your personalities kind of proceed. However, in the cipher, back to you, there is just simply got it. Need backup?
Adrana would just kind of. They're. No, but let me tell you this recipe that they had. So 3 pounds of potatoes. Of course, not for you, not for me, but let me break it down. But the cipher goes, no. Stay still. I'll go in myself.
And you get a very short response back to that one. And it's simply, I'm dying to try it. Can't wait till you're back. And then the cipher says, stay safe. And then also says, I can't wait until you get back. Okay. Anything else?
I think Darius kind of got in his head about Sheba thinking he was being sad earlier when he was actually trying to bring levity. When he was talking about the don't blink, bring up the shuttle part, and he can't leave it alone. So he's just like in the pilot seat, and he's just kind of messing with stuff, like actually piloting. He just then eventually goes, "So I wasn't trying to be sad when I said don't blow up the ship. That's a thing. Yes, that's a thing that happened. It wasn't a set. I mean, it happens on missions. I wasn't particularly sad in the moment. I was upset after the fact, but no, you know, I was trying to be funny, and I feel like it just didn't come through correctly. My sense of humor, eh, uh, I don't know. Maybe Dred's right. Maybe I'm actually not funny.
No, I think you're hilarious. I just think no one wants to be sad, and that's okay.
I'm not. I'm not. Why'd you put so much emphasis on it? I'm not sad.
It's okay. It's
What do you?
fine.
What do you? There's a very old movie that I saw in the archives. It's called. Oh crap! I'm losing the actual name of the movie. It's with the one with Robin Williams where he says it's not your fault. Why am I losing the name of the movie? Uh, uh, but there's a character
Hey
in it that
Quill,
says,
look
Good
up
Will
the Robin
Hunting.
Williams movie.
"Thank you, Good Will Hunting." I was getting the Will part, but my brain kept switching to Danger Will Robinson. But yeah, well, look, stuff happens. The last thing I watched with a Will in it was was Lost in Space.
The Will 2K music video, obviously. Everyone.
I mean, we are getting jiggy with it. No. The Willennium. It was Willennium. We're going on a tangent. Jesus. He goes. You're unlocking too many things in my brain. There's an old archive movie from back in the day called Good Will Hunting, where a therapist says it's not your fault over and over again, and the patient eventually breaks down. That's not going to happen here.
Why is someone hunting Will? And is it the good time?
We're going to have a movie night, Sheba.
I like a movie night.
Okay, I like a lot of like old movies. Like I almost said Turner Classic Movies. that can't exist here. It's another version. There's definitely a channel that is all just archive footage of old movies, and that is his channel where it's just like old school cowboy movies, but it's just cowboys versus aliens. Like that's his. Like,
Yes. No, that's I feel like that's a big movie in this because that's like
oh yeah.
that's the big assumption that humans had about aliens, and like a lot of like alien movies are like fun, like you know like oh, what is it, like the Blob, like those where it's like it used to be like kind of scary and now it's just really funny because it's just so cheesy. I think that's just general humor now, are those really old movies where it's like, ha, you worshipped cats and you thought we were, you know, all like this. That's really funny.
Mhm. Like it's definitely in like our modern day version of film history courses. It was just like this is ridiculous, but back in those days, this is what, and then completely wrong information about why they made the movie.
The humans thought, no, but yes. I would absolutely love a movie day. Also, that means I get to learn more about you, and then I can see what everyone's favorite movies are. We did have a lot to film in the flotilla. We actually made our own movies. So I have some home movies that if you'd like to watch, then we can go ahead and we can break it down and have snacks.
You know what, Shiva? I would love that.
They're not very good.
I figured when you said home movies, but hey, everybody starts somewhere.
It's okay. I mostly was behind the camera, and then I was dead guy number 3. Spoilers. Shoot. Sorry.
Well, now you've just ruined the whole mystique for me, and then that
Wait,
just
no,
goes
no, no, no,
on.
no! And there's just this like now that will kind of cut, and it's just like Shiva trying to backtrack to be like, no one died. It's fine. It was a flashback. Like anything to try to make sure you still want to like watch the movie.
And he just keeps messing with her about that. Just like, well, I'm not good. Now I just can't. You've ruined it for me.
So you see, like her face has the expressions on it, like the emoticons, and you see her get to the point of like frustrated and upset that she turns it off. So there's just a black screen of her like going like, no, it's fine. Don't worry about it. Just cover your ears and go la la la. Don't listen to me. It's stupid. It's fine.
He's got the big like. He is just giggling his happy little ass off. Just the biggest Cheshire smile on his face, and but still trying to just be looking forward, like he's done with it, but he just can't help it because she tickles him so deeply with this.
Yeah, no, it's her just backtracking. So that will pan away. Is there any? Ooh, Jade.
Yeah.
What do you wanna do?
So I know that we established like there's the armory and there's like that section that I forgot his name that Tyrion was doing the thing. Is there like a gym of sorts, like where there would be punching bags and things of that nature on the ship, or is it
Yes.
in that area?
It's not going to be specifically in the armory. There
Okay.
is a full area where there is a gym. It does have punching bags. It does have holograms that you can pull up. It's not like a full training room like on a large scale ship where you can change the entire dynamic of the room, unfortunately, as they had to make space. But there is partial, so you can have like certain enemies in front of you or like certain scenarios, but just it doesn't change everything and give you like the area to do it in, the terrain. But that's available. There are some workout equipment that is available as well. So you are able to use like pretty much whatever you can think of is there or can be adjusted to make it work. But it's not a really large gym. It probably only fits about 3 people comfortably at a time. Like a very small, like almost like a hotel gym.
Gotcha. Yeah. I think that Nyx would use the time right before they, make for and land in Omega to go down and use the punching bag a little bit.
I think at some point, Worq would also step into that space.
So, you're gonna join in? I don't think that the may build these things in Krogan size. Might not be much use for you.
Yeah, probably not the best idea to break one of their shiny new toys on day one, huh?
I know that they have at least enough money to afford all of us, but maybe not enough money to fix that. We could go into the whatever simulation training room they have over there if you want. Could be used for
Nah, I'm just wandering the ship for now. You go ahead and get your workout in.
But I know that you gave me that recommendation for. I'm gonna say. Can't remember what exactly it was for, but generally some of the shotgun mods that you found helpful. I'm gonna be looking for some more on the Citadel if you don't mind. Or not the Citadel, in Omega if you don't mind giving me recommendations.
Are you asking me to go shopping with you, Nixeris?
I mean, if you would like to join, not many people actually want to go shopping with me. Usually it's a headache and a waste of time, but if you would like to join, you can. But even if you're just like, hey, Nixeris, don't buy that. That's kind of a useless thing to add. That works too. So
There's a bit of a pause before his little mouth turns into a grin.
Yeah, why not? I'm sure I can stop you from making a harrowing mistake regarding shotgun mods. Shouldn't be an issue.
Yeah, I feel like I also get overcharged with the, oh my gosh, that pretty Asari doesn't know what that mod does, and I mean they're right, but doesn't make it okay. And she kind of is, while she's doing this, she's hitting the punching bag, and so a couple of times it gets hit a bit harder, maybe with like a little bit of biotics flaring, nothing too much. She doesn't want to break it, but clearly hitting it a bit harder when she's saying that.
Well, you would think at this point in the galaxy that more vendors would understand the power behind those little blue Asari heads of yours, but every once in a while you get a moron, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, there's the commandos, I mean, they had Arya, for Christ's sake, in Omega at one point. You'd think that they would know better, and each punch just gets more and more heavy.
Worq, this is gonna be funny. Worq is gonna try and inconspicuously make his way to the other side of the bag to kind of stabilize it a bit. Not to give it away that he's like trying to like make sure that this bag survives this workout session, but he does notice that she's punching it pretty freaking hard, so
I
just
mean,
gonna walk past you and then just like lean against it, but like, you know, like a coach would, just like leans into it, but he's got his head like to the side so you can still see him. I'm amazed I got through that without a slight like a stealth check, but I'll take it.
I don't think she's paying attention right now. I think that 3 Krogan could walk into that gym and she would not notice. I mean, it's just so frustrating, and I don't know what it is about Omega, but every single time I go, it's extremely frustrating. I hate it. I don't understand why there's so much things, and she's just ranting about how she does not like Omega.
Little unsolicited advice from your friendly Krogan here.
She pauses.
You keep going to Omega expecting them to fight fair. You go to Omega expecting them to treat you fair, you're always gonna lose. Always.
I just am tired of seeing things over time. We have so much time. Way more than humans and some of the other races, and things just don't get better. Sometimes they don't get worse, but a lot of the times they don't get better either.
You know,
And his voice kind of lowers a little bit.
if you tell anyone I said this, we're gonna have more than just words, but they're too selfish. The galaxy is too selfish to get out of its own way. That's why we needed someone, the Krogan needed someone like Rex, who was willing to look forward to the future and not just worry about what the history books would say about him. You know, the less we think about ourselves, the more we can think about each other. Or some human saying, I don't know.
You get a little grin out of him.
Life would be certainly a lot easier if every human was like Commander Shepard, every Turian like Garrus. Vicarian, every sorry like the are Sony, although thinking about me being like that would be ugh. But in a way, she certainly seems like a lovely person, a matriarch in her own right, but does seem interesting.
We haven't even been in the same room for more than 24 hours, and you're already invoking sacred names, just like old times.
What can I say? I'm a fan of history, and I think that we need more real heroes nowadays. Cliche. I
Well,
like
what do you mean? I'm right here.
that is true. That is true. Well, I think that we are probably a couple hours before we land, so need to get cleaned up and all of that. But thanks for listening to me.
Yeah. Anytime. Anytime. Now, if you excuse me, I am gonna get ready to shoot a whole lot of. Wait. I don't really know who it is that we're gonna fight, but anyway, I'm getting ready to shoot a whole lot of people in the face. So, you know where to find me if you need me.
All right.
And does not have either of his weapons on him, which is a rarity. But he gets off of the bag and exits the gym.
Yeah, and Nixeris is heading up to her room. So if there's anyone else that is up there, like in the cipher area, then you'll probably see Nix coming in.
What's your passive perception?
Me or Sparrow?
Nick.
Okay, cool. Let me look at it. I got this feeling that someone's watching me. It is 14.
14. You do have that feeling. Feels more than a couple steps behind at this, but it still feels recognizable. However, you hear a sound that is fleeting, almost like it could be a figment of your imagination, and it's this kind of like scratching. It's like a quick like scratch, and then it's done. But it's kind of hard to tell if that was you or just something that really exists.
She stops for a moment. Years on the Citadel, centuries on the Citadel, and I think I finally fucking lost it. And keeps on walking.
Right? Anything else anyone wants to do? Okay. So.
I was just gonna say, eventually he does take a break from piloting, because when him being here in the seat was mostly also him trying to see how good Sheba is. Once he realizes he can trust her, like as far as the piloting goes, he does eventually take a break, because he literally went from hanging out with his family, secret meeting, to now piloting the ship and sending secret messages. He has not taken a moment at all to take in the ship.
Right.
So we do not have. Yes. Go ahead.
Real quick, before you do that, before we do anything else, do you want to make a check to see how she does?
Yes. What
Say you
do
trust
want me to
her,
roll?
but do you know? You can do insight investigation. You could also do. I'd say you could do a check based off of handling air vehicles.
Vehicle
space
hand.
vehicles.
You'll let me use vehicle handling? Okay. 27.
Yeah. Let me go ahead and roll for her real quick. Just so she... Oh, yeah. So, she is young. She still has a lot to learn. That being said, the way that she's handling this cruiser is very good. Almost like natural. She doesn't seem to be at full attention, both hands on at all times. She's pretty comfortable, pretty confident in her driving ability, especially at this cruising speed. but you see her make small adjustments that are things that you, of course, notice. Like an asteroid that's a certain distance away, and you need to start making a turn at a certain point, at a certain angle, or you're going to collide, or you're going to go too far off center, and it's going to kind of mess up the ship. She does a good job.
Okay.
But she does seem to get flustered fairly easily based off of the movie thing. But when she's confident, she seems to be very confident.
I say, Sheba, I'm gonna go. Well, I did freshen up for dinner, but now I'm gonna freshen up again, and I'm gonna actually walk about the ship a little bit because I kind of just parked myself right here. I trust you to handle this. They wouldn't have hired you if you weren't good at what you were doing. All right. And we do not have to role play him walking about the ship because everyone's already done it.
Yo, what if we did? No. Was there anything specific you wanted to do, or was it just your room?
He does walk around a little bit, but he doesn't enter any. At this moment, he doesn't need to enter any particular room. Like he doesn't need to talk to anyone. He trusts that this ship is going to run like any other ship. He knows there's an armory. He knows there's a doctor's office. He doesn't need to meet them yet, because if he needs to meet them, it's gonna be time. It's gonna be time to go, and he doesn't trust most people with Gladys, his sidearm.
Yeah.
So
Totally
that
fair.
stays with him.
You got it. So yeah, you can go to your room. If there's nothing else, we're gonna head to Omega.
Oh yeah.
So you get there, within a fairly good amount of time. You're not in any particular rush, but you arrive, you dock. The crew is allowed to disembark as well. Sheba will stay on. Junios is going to stay on. Quill has to stay on. The Krogan that you don't know his name yet, he's gonna leave. But he's probably gonna sneak out before the rest of you get there. And at this point, you walk into the main port of Omega, which immediately, as the gate sliding doors into the main part of the station open, you can begin to hear a very low, it's more of like a feel, but you can still hear it, but feel the rumbling of Afterlife, which is dead ahead from where you've walked into. You see to the left and to the right, there are, people just standing, talking, walking around. There is an area where you can get vehicles rented. You can rent your own vehicle. You can also see that there are areas where you could go down into the marketplaces. And there is from this distance, it's not as large as it may seem, but based off of the distance, you are all equipped enough to know that there is a fairly large field, some kind of like forest biotic field that separates this section from the next behind. But it's fairly far away. It's just enough to see.
I think before, like, as the team is, like, going through the airlock, going to the dock, Nyx is going to kind of clear her throat a little bit. So, I know that most of us haven't worked together before. I'm going to assume that the two of you, looking at Darius and Adrana, may have contacts on Omega. I know that it isn't, like, too necessary, but I want you to know that I do regard us as a team. Would you want us to go with whoever needs to meet with a contact, Would they get spooked? Pretty good at bodyguarding people if I need to.
I would say, GM, did I get the feeling that you said she goes by Caddy, correct? Not Katie?
Caddy.
Caddy. Did I get the feeling like she interpreted it as I was working alone?
No, you were
Or
really
is it just a no, just come meet her in general type deal?
When you had done the etc., I kind of assumed the etc. did include.
Well, yeah, I
not
would include
everything
that I
you
have a
do.
team.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. But you also have worked with her in the past. So she's a contact to the extent of if you trust someone and are bringing them with you, she has not the utmost trust in you, but she knows you're not going to bring around someone that you don't also trust. So you pretty much have a welcome home to the Luna at any point.
Okay. Well, Nick Saris, I was actually going to mention such a thing. I actually do have a contact that I sent a message ahead of time to keep an eye out on wayward former Alliance military officer here on Omega. And you see he gets a bit exasperated as he takes a deep breath. He just goes, "She would like for us to meet her first where she's at in their domain before anything. If you're all comfortable with that, we will be meeting with the let me make sure I get the name right. The Nod of the Luna. I've worked with them in the past. They do good work. They are the least murdery for the sake of murdering group of mercenaries, I would say.
That tracks. That
Go,
tracks.
of course, when you go into it, a lot of mercenary groups are so large that it could just be that particular group of that mercenary band. So I would say larger percentage don't do as much harm, but I'm not going to hold them accountable for a few bad actors that they'll probably end up dealing with on their own anyway.
But like, why is it always the eclipse? Whenever I have problems on Omega.
Why is it all? Oh, I can go deep into that. You know they have part of their initiation is that they have to murder somebody, right?
Eclipse lore. I feel like that's a great conversation to be having about like the different groups and like the general aspects of them, including the fact that you have to murder someone to join the Eclipse. It's just canon and crazy. But you are all able to make it to the area. Darius, not a lot has changed except for the fact that the neutral territory, was about 3 buildings back. That line where the biotic shield is, that was back a little further beforehand. It seems to have pushed up.
So the neutral Okay, just for my brain, the neutral territory has expanded. There's more neutral territory, is what you're saying, or there's less of it.
There is less. Whatever is behind this, which is there. You know what? I didn't exactly decide what was gonna be back here. So let's roll a little D4. We're gonna go in order. 1 is Blood Pact. 2 is going to be the Blue Suns. 3 is going to be Eclipse, and 4 will be Nada de Luna. It is the Blue Sun.
Well, that used to be a bit further away. It looks like the neutral zone's gotten a bit smaller since last I was here.
How long was that?
I'm sorry.
Good job! You're doing great! It's okay.
He followed me. Sorry. How long was that?
There was a lot of whiskey involved.
Mm. Okay. What's this look like? Who's that over there now then?
Do I just openly see people wearing like a Blue Suns, like insignia on the other side of the biotic wall, just like walking? Oh, well, those are the Blue Suns.
Adrana just kind of has their just like a stiff upper chest and like shoulders, just like that, like as if they're itching to kind of walk closer, but they turn to you, have like their full attention, just like, okay.
Do we need a breakdown of all the mercenary groups, or do we pretty much just Blue Suns? While they are mercenaries, officially speaking, they are a private military group. They are officially recognized and they get hired out as such. That ties into the depends on which group of them you're dealing with type of situation that I mentioned before. They're more business minded, but they're just as ruthless as, probably not as ruthless as the Eclipse. They don't have the whole murder somebody just to get in rule. Which, again, Nixeris, that is the reason.
That tracks.
Yes.
You know, the founder.
There's too many rules to get into one little group.
You know, the founder of the Blue Suns, I think, kind of famous. But I guess if you found any type of mercenary group, you're famous. While they're chit-chatting, Nixeris is going to continue the conversation and chiming in, but she also wants to kind of, you basically is now in bodyguardish mode. So kind of doing like a quick scan to see if there's anyone that's been like kind of tracking them, because clearly they just got off of a cool-looking ship. So. Are you muted? Yeah, you're muted. I had to check my because I was like, oh no, am I? One sec.
While this is getting dealt with, I will just say Darius, by the way, looks like he fully just got up from a nap. Like he was stretching when he was getting into the. This is because Jade, you had to say Darius is eepy. I was just like, you know what? He did go take a nap in his room. So he's stretching. He just, like, his breath smells extremely minty. He either just brushed his teeth or gargled or just chewed some gum, or all of those. But he's like kind of stretching. He has a bit more energy than what he was having, but he's up and ready to go. But you do notice the occasional just like stretching out as he's explaining stuff about the mercenary groups.
There we go. I know how to make it work now.
Hell yeah.
So, I'm sorry, you were... What are you doing exactly again, Nyx?
Yeah, no, you're good. Well, Nyx is kind of like chit-chatting with like the team about just mercenaries and lore. She also wants to kind of discreetly do like a scan to see if there's any peeps that are at least being obvious about following them or like checking them out, looking at them too long. She hates Ameka.
Yeah, you can make an active perception or an active investigation check.
All right. My dice are out of reach. I have to use the virtual dice. Please do not fuck me over,
The
virtual
dirty
dice. Please do not fuck me over, virtual dice. Okay. Oh, nice. 19.
There you go. Yeah, I would say you are a group of people that aren't seen. Like there. It is very. There's one of each type of person, so it's not like it's common to see. So I think people look at that a little strange. But overall, there are, of course, people eyeing you, because one, a lot of you look like you have money, particularly Nyxeris.
Fair enough.
And 2, I mean, everyone's really nosy on Omega. So I'd say you don't see one person in particular that looked worrisome in this. I would say the only person that is not worrisome but kind of intriguing is you can see the bouncers at the front of Afterlife look over you all. The Krogan will reach over, smack the other Krogan across the way on the arm to make him pay attention. And there's, ow! And then we'll look over to you. And then there's just like a nod between them, but nothing else really happens. But it's not you specifically, it's the group.
I just think that's funny.
Hey, you see her?
No, it's not specifically Nick.
It's not just
the
me,
group.
but it's one of those-
However, and also, like, look at that group. Also look at the Asari. But primarily look at the group. And also look at the tall hot Turian.
Hey.
So a Krogan,
And look at that piece of a muscle over there. Like, 2 pieces of muscle. Just one's Krogan. The other's human, but that's okay.
Aw.
That scared me. I didn't know you could do that. Okay. What were you saying, Jay?
No, we're just saying, a Asari, a Krogan, a Turian, and a human walk into Omega. You know how this show goes.
Yeah, but I'm sure. I don't know. We'll figure it out. We got like an hour and a half more.
Yeah.
So you all walk to this biotic field. Immediately, those with heavy biotic senses, Nyxeris, you realize it is not immediately harmful. It's more like an obvious field to show people where the barrier line is. So there are no excuses that people knew they walked into new territory. And additionally, you can feel that it does seem to have technology connected into it that has certain triggers. It doesn't seem like it's any particular trigger that you seem to have on you. You don't feel that biotic source. People who are tech heavy, I would say you don't feel that particular source either. The only reason I'm not having you roll for it because it's really obvious. But there seems to be some kind of trigger or code or something that would activate the shield to go awry, which is not currently happening.
And actually, Nyxeris, while we're on the subject of people having contacts, did anyone else have contacts on here, on Omega? Just in case we can kind of hit more than one up, probably cover more ground, so to speak.
Not anyone trustworthy at this point.
Well, it's Omega. And I grew up here, so trust me, I'm an expert.
No, really.
Contact.
Not a good idea.
What, sorry, what'd you say, Moz?
There is a contact.
He looks
A
at
little
Nyxeris.
flighty.
Please tell me it's not an eclipse. I don't need Nyxeris to, shoot someone with a shotgun.
Not yet, you don't.
Though I want to see
well,
that.
I love that Darius's first thought is, I'm worried for other people's safety. Please don't.
Well, it's more so like, if Nyxeris shoots the eclipse, and we end up in the eclipse territory, all the eclipse are gonna come after us. That's his thinking, but he phrases it as, "Please don't hurt anybody." yet.
I love that Nixeris is your worry.
Worq's just standing there twiddling his whittle thumbs,
At like
waiting.
9 feet 9.
Look,
Guys,
feet.
7'6", guys, come
At
on.
12 feet
tall.
10.
Fucking
You know what-
30
you know
foot
why Nick's-
Krogan over here.
you know why Nixeris is his worry? Because that's not that they're more controllable. What's he gonna do with Rex?
What do you think you're gonna do with Nyx?
Worq?
I think that's a really funny assumption.
He could
Why?
actually probably just be like, "Hey, come on now, please." With Worq, oh shit, yeah, Worq, not Rex, Worq. My bad.
Would you take that as a
Yeah, you're not gonna
compliment?
do shit to Rex. He's
Fucking dead.
30 feet down.
With Worq, he's just gonna be like, "You know what? They probably deserved it at that point." Because anybody that goes after Worq, the 7'6" Krogan, they didn't want to be here. All right. Whereas Nixeris, I feel
That's
like
fair.
a conversation
That's
could be
fair.
had. With Nixeris, a conversation can be had to be like, hey, calm down real quick, calm down. With Worq, you know what? Hey, you know what? You got a big
Go
dog.
with
You got a
God.
big dog.
Go
You got a
with
big
the
dog.
Go with the Reapers.
What do the sorry say? Embrace eternity. You're gonna embrace eternity.
It's like you embracing something. With Worq, hey, you got a big dog.
Before we continue, one last thing. I think Darius is going. I would also want to talk to this Asari, so I get it. So I think you're having a little remorse of going, I'd want to talk to them too. So I feel bad for the guy or whoever walks up to Nixeris. It's like, hold on, wait, he's redeemable, I promise. I am this guy. Anyway, Moz, you were saying, you said a little
Yes.
flighty.
Yeah, you see them kind of like looking over to the Blue Suns territory, Darius. And they're just like, it's not
Well, they're
that.
close.
They're close, yes. And it's not that we don't work well as a team. And they're kind of looking at Nyx at that. But if I lose this little bit of information, I don't know how much longer I have to wait for the next bit.
Information about what we're doing or information about something else you got going on?
They kind of smile to you with a little smirk.
He takes a step forward towards you. He
And
goes,
the girl have some side projects?
"Oh, he takes a step forward. And goes, I knew you were gonna be fun."
They just shake their head and they like kind of walk forward before like looking down at you, Darius, and's like, of course.
We're the same height.
What else did you think? Wait, are you? Okay, they're
No,
yeah,
I love
6'2".
the idea she stands on her tiptoes.
Yeah, she has some heels on. Let's say that.
Yeah. I was like, aren't we both 6'3"?
Futuristic
she
red
just,
bottoms. Sorry, I'll stop.
I mean,
you know what?
hey,
Yes, I love it. No,
Hey, he's cool. He's cool with that. He has no problem with.
if there are more
with
on
some-
Omega, Adrana will go shopping with you. But they just agree with you with like a smirk on their face, and they kind of look to where we are at with your contact. Anything you got to tell us?
How familiar are you all with old movies that are like from the archives?
Oh, we've been
Worq like
him.
rolls his eyes like, oh gosh. All right, here we go.
Adrana
We
rolls
share
her eyes as
pa-
well.
Listen, we share a passion for old archive movies. She found her niche. Let me just tell you that. He says in an accent that no one else in his family shares, by the way. So I just need you all to know that. He's the only one that has this accent.
Of course.
Because he found his niche. she's fun, obviously, because I only work with the fun ones. Asari, so don't. Do I know her capabilities as far as like being able to probe minds and stuff? Like, is she a particularly powerful biotic user, or is she mostly like melee? Because all
She's
Asari are powerful biotic users.
she's not particularly biotic based.
Okay.
She's more active with guns and particularly pistols. That being said, she can be so easily understated
Mhm.
that she's very dangerous. There's a reason
The
why she's
pistols.
leading them.
The pistols part is probably also a connection that we have. We both like pistols. Don't let don't let what you see fool you. There's a reason why she is and he makes a point to look at the leader of one of these groups.
All right.
Good
But
enough
also,
for me.
Adrana kind of
she-
nods.
but also, she's not the type to shy away from a group of people. He kind of and he winks at Adrana when he says that,
You know,
and we are expected.
perfect. You know, Andrana, maybe you can ask them to meet you in Afterlife. That way we can still be there, but not there. If you think that would work. But we can also figure that out after this conversation.
No, that's an idea. I'll think on it.
All right, now let me get a. look at
Also,
all
are
of you.
we
And he-
supposed to bring gifts? I don't really watch. Dang it. Do we need gifts? No?
No, but for really quickly,
Alright.
let me actually take a look at all of you. And he takes a step back and he's just making sure that none of them have anything that could be misconstrued as being a part of any of the other groups in these territories. All
No,
right, yeah,
based off
none
of the
you-
outfits, they're
Alright.
they're very good. They're very good.
Just make like genuinely just let me just a quick run through. All right. No one's wearing any insignia. All right. He does that stupid Sherlock Holmes thing where the collar, where he like sort of pops his collar, but he doesn't have to because the jacket was built to the collar is always up. He's got the Doctor Strange mod on his coat, so the collar just pops itself. Goes, all right. None of us look like we are part of any Merc group, but this is also Omega, so we're probably part of a Merc group. Just try not to antagonize anybody that doesn't antagonize you. Worq, don't eat anybody because I don't think we could sustain your size. If you grew any more, I'm pretty sure Omega will fall out of orbit. You giant muscle man. And he like pats you on the shoulder and he makes a show of like hurting his hand.
Before they step in, Adrana will try to. Is there a way to connect with their contact?
I would say if you want to, I'm going to look and see what those are. Then I can see what maybe.
Ooh, secret.
And you are a what was it? Info?
Yeah.
Anyway, one second. If y'all want to vamp, I'm gonna.
No,
look
you're
through
good. I
the
just want to take a
videos.
moment to shout out gaming ambience on YouTube because they have all of the different regions of like all the Mass Effect games on like an hour music, and I think that that's just
That's
really
amazing.
cool. So in case you're
Yep.
like, I need some, what is it? what's the club on Omega called? Afterlife. I need some
Afterlife.
Afterlife beats to study too. They got you for that, for both the upper
Yeah, they
level
sure
and the
do.
lower level.
That's really cool.
I would say, based off of your expertise and what you are good at, if you would like to try to get somewhere higher and see if you can see them, you can.
Yeah, definitely when they get a moment after this, for sure. Not to take away from the fact that they're a team right now, so they'll note that as like looking above Adrana, just like scanning this like the rooftop, seeing like if they can just get a good little scope. I feel like they're being noticed also because no, there's no way she would have brought her gun, but no, that's too much. No. Yeah,
Really?
they're ready. They're here. Nah.
Of all
Everybody would
places,
see. Yeah.
of all places on Omega, you thought this was the inconspicuous place?
Did you check out something from the armory so you at least have something, or did you bring no
Oh, yeah.
weapon? Okay.
Oh, they have weapons. They have something with the scope, just not as strong.
Gotcha. Totally fair. Totally good. A different scope, a non-broken scope, if it were, but that's okay. So you can all make it through Blue Suns. Darius would know at this point. It just takes a little bit of time. It is a level down. Uh, it's fairly close. But there is a way to get to that area. Going through this area specifically, that is free. If you wanted to spend money, you could go back around and you could go get a taxi type of thing or a vehicle, which wouldn't take too much money. It would probably be about 50 for all of you, not individually,
Honestly,
but together.
I'm not about to make them walk. I would actually say, let's not walk this. Let's get a taxi there.
So you'll go back around. You'll stay in neutral territory. There is a large portion of Omega that's not like in the. It's kind of in the center essentially because if you look at Omega, it is built into an old mine, and then it comes down, but it has this like middle portion where you can go to the different levels. So that area stays pretty neutral. I mean, that's where most of the vehicles are. So if there was any violence to happen there, it could absolutely happen there. But it's typically fairly safe to go down. And you were able to make it to where you need to go. The Nada de Luna territory is fairly large, but it is also really well maintained versus the Blue Suns. When you looked in, it seemed a lot more militaristic, and a lot more like patrolled and heavily like confined and watched, and as a security company. This is a lot more free. It's a lot more. You can maybe tell who's a part of it. There's no particular heavy coloration. It's more so the way that you notice who's a part of this group. And Darius would know this, is going to be a certain kind of tattoo that can be on anywhere on their body. But it is tech activated. So essentially, if there is an Omni tool that goes near it, or if there is something that Omni gel, something that is reactive, then the tattoo will light up. And Darius, this is something that you can see. This is up to you. Do you have one?
Oh, I do.
Okay.
I believe I said last time he does. You can't see that he does have tattoos that just don't go below his biceps. But the particular tattoo is not on his arms. It is definitely on his torso somewhere.
Gotcha. So you walk through. Uh, People watch. People are always looking to make sure that there's no one that they don't recognize that is obviously here to cause trouble, but you don't seem to be those people. Um, you, Darius, start to lead them towards it's not quite a bar, it's not quite a club. It's more like a specific country club, or like a club you have to be licensed to join into. You have to be a part of it. You can't just freely walk into. But it feels more like a hunting club than anything. And it's a fairly large building. The building itself does have graffiti on it, but the graffiti is really well done and almost looks purposeful at this point. The pinks are particularly bright, and the blues seem to have this almost neon biotic light to it, to where the paint is reactive and seems to have its own, what is the right word? It seems to flicker and have its own, like, pulsation. You get to the door, a door you've been to many, many, many times before. And just, there's a man there that stops you. He's human. You don't particularly recognize him. But he gives you a look up and down, and he looks over everyone else before putting out his Omni tool.
I lift up my shirt, and it's on this rib right here, right next to an oblique. That's where the sign is.
And it is going to be just like a crescent moon. But as it's scanned, it does scan properly. And he looks to you and then looks to everyone else. He'll nod you in. But then he holds up the Omni tool to everyone.
He goes, "They're with me. Cat is expecting us."
Can you use some form of way to, I'm not going to say persuade, because you don't need to necessarily use persuasion, but can you try to convince him with some kind of roll?
Okay. Let me find a roll.
Can I help?
I was thinking about that too. I was
Yeah.
like,
Yeah. Can I help?
Adrana
there
does
like
like a cute little
persuasion?
wave from the back.
A
I
cute
was
little wave.
I'm just
Can I do intimidation to help?
Oh
I
my
was just
God.
gonna do persuasion with the whole "cat is expecting us" portion, but okay.
Oh my
You
God.
could do persuasion, and then we can have you roll it at advantage, and then we'll add intimidation to it as well. Like, essentially, like, you're persuasive, good cop, bad cop kind of thing.
That's a nat 17 for 19 on persuasion.
Hey.
Yeah. So you're fairly persuasive on your own. You are so much more persuasive with a large Krogan behind you that's just, like, when he sniffs out, hair moves. Like a powerful snort of, like, this strong Krogan. And just the cutest little, doesn't do a lot to help, but it's real cute. Nix, what are you doing? Because you also wanted to help.
Yeah, I think that Nyx's like kind of like intim persuasion, if you will. But kind of just more of like the I didn't know that the Nada de Luna couldn't recognize their own members. All that Omni tool, and I don't really need that.
So you have, bear with me, you have the, I'm questioning my own rules and regulations. You have a big Krogan, and you have, and it's perfect. Perfect. The man just simply, yeah, go on it. Yeah.
Just for all the other people here, when he lifted up his shirt, you did see, like, it's not like, he has a lot of tattoos.
I thought
Like,
you say
he's
that he's
not
about to be ripped, and it was like, oh, someone saw Darius in the shower, and he had a 12-pack.
I mean,
I don't know. That could also be true.
I
So
mean,
he's got like an 18-pack, and like
yeah, he's built exactly like a One Piece character with just an impossible amount of abs for his body.
so Katakuri Charlotte. No,
You activated it for Serenity.
yeah, I can't help it. No, but yeah, there are a lot of tattoos. You said, are there any that would be noticeable or particular?
On that particular side, with how he casually lifted up his shirt, if anyone knew what it looked like, there is an N7 on his pec on the same side,
Nixon knows.
like the the Cata de Luna insignia is like a little bit is like right here. The N7 would be right here, and it's just like how he lifted his shirt up. He was just like, yeah, just scan it.
Yeah, it doesn't. The Luna moon doesn't show up until it is scanned, and then it promptly goes away. But
Yeah.
you were all let in. And immediately the vibes are heavy Mad Max Gladiator pit as you begin to hear like cheering and yelling, cursing, there's drinking and music. And you see someone on a throne. It's created to become a throne at this point. But there is a lot of different parts put in onto this chair. There are what seem to be not like anatomy trophies, but like tech trophies and like rare guns, like pieces of guns, rare like little tags of different people's stuff. Just there's like a whole history to this large, imposing, messy throne with an Asari just sitting. Her legs are slightly spread as she's just watching with a hand on her chin. The Asari herself is wearing this mixture of what would be seen as typical clothing, but it looks like it was probably originally white or like a cream color, and then dyed into like bubblegum pink, except for any like leather parts that were originally black. Cut to hell. So an original shirt that would have like full sleeves all the way up gloves is now cut to make them separated and to create holes in there, kind of punk. The Asari is this almost pink color, but it doesn't seem to be natural. It seems to be like she has a consistent shield up or like a biotic that conveys it. So it's more like it looks like it's makeup. It's not bad, but you could tell it's not real. And she's just watching as two people. It's let's say a human and let's say a turtle are just going at it in this pit. And you hear someone scream in pain. You hear a boo. And then you hear a loud boo from the crowd as someone yells, "The human cheated! The human cheated!" As it does look like the human has a bit of, not smoke, but almost steam from their laser pistol coming out, just the heat difference. As it looks like there was a large sign that said, "No weapons allowed" in the pit. And the woman just picks up a pistol, twirls it, pops a shot without glancing, and the human goes down. She doesn't look happy about what happened. And then she just says, okay, that's enough. Go back to work. Get off my ass. Get out of here. And she makes everyone go back to work, which immediately everything seems to calm down. Like they just let everything out, got really intense, and then now they're back to work as a mercenary group. As people go back to their logs, to terminals, to cleaning weaponry, etc., etc. Um, Caddy looks over and sees Darius with a group of people. Um, excitedly, just so quick, spontaneous. She jumps out of her spot, and you see this biotic push to her get there faster. She is definitely going to like hug you and try to tackle you. I would love for you to make me a strength save to try to counter this, or athletics, or actually let's do like a grapple. So you do athletics or acrobatics, and I'm gonna do an athletics.
Worq is gonna actively like sidestep this. Like he's not here to help you, bro.
No, I also
He does not expect help.
yeah, I wanted to add something really quick. Did anyone else notice when we all walked in, or were they too engrossed into like what is happening in the center?
Way too engrossed.
Yeah, if Adrana could see that, Adrana would come up and immediately be like, "The human cheated!" and like yell out before they see everything happen. They just turn to the group like, "Oh." Like as soon as that happened, they're like, to step back really 2 steps, and like not let you get tackled. Sorry.
No, I think you heard someone go, "The human cheated." I think you were the second louder voice that spurred it to be louder, and that's why the reaction happened, because someone noticed it, and you went,
Yep.
I don't stand by that. That's a Turian down there.
Yep. Perfect.
Okay, what was your save?
18.
18. Normally it's meets it, beats it, but I kind of want this to, I want to see where this goes. Can we do a secondary one?
Okay.
Just for flavor, for funsies, if you would.
Exact same roll.
Okay, well, she's got. I'm glad you got it. So what's gonna happen is she's gonna run to tackle you. Now, are you accepting the hug and just not trying to fall over, or are you trying to do something different?
I knew she was going to hug me. I just don't fall over. I don't give her the satisfaction of going down.
Okay,
So what it turns it? Can I tell you what it turns into? When
Yeah.
she does this whole biotic jump to get to me with all this force, she wraps her arms around me, and I just turn it in. I just like kind of pivot on my back heel, and I just turn it into a quick princess spin because I know that's what she wants anyway. Instead of me
Okay.
getting tackled, I turn it into a princess spin, and then I put her. Actually, no, she's not down. I hold her up with my arm, so her legs are still up off the ground, but I just hold her to me while she's hugging me.
You got it. Yeah. So I think the secondary thing wouldn't have happened because you did what she most likely would have wanted anyway. So because at first her whole goal was to figure out how to knock you flat on the ground.
Yep.
But then you immediately changed it, and she's like, "Oh no, this is way more fun." And then she's just going to give you a little pat on the shoulder as she goes, it's been so long. Like, God, there's been so much whiskey, but there's been like, what? Like 5 years? It's been a long time.
Don't think I didn't notice you were trying to tackle me just now. Don't try to change the subject.
Oh, and I wasn't even avoiding it. That's like the whole thing here. Hi, who are your friends? And she'll like pat you to like put her down to introduce you to the others.
I just kind of. Okay, so this gigantic beast of a Krogan is Worq. I do my best to just ply him with a lot of platitudes so he does not eat me.
She's gonna put out a hand just immediately to you.
He'll shake it. he doesn't put any like force into it or anything. It almost feels maybe just a little weak. Just a touch.
Ooh. Hold on. Pause. Before you turn, she's got I would like you to she's going to clamp down on your hand as hard as she can to
Okay.
try to elicit a reaction from you.
Okay.
So what is your AC?
16.
She is not as strong as she wishes she was. She thought she was fully prepared to try to elicit a reaction from you by squeezing. But the years of hard work and battle have made your hands slightly more hardened than she was expecting, and you see a and she uses both hands real quick and she goes, "No, I can't do it." But nice.
Nice to meet you.
This one here, the Turian, filled with spunk and secrets. That's Adrana.
Adrana was smiling, and then you said secrets, and they're just like,
Pause.
"What secrets?" And they like lean over and give a handshake back.
Nice to meet you. I'm also full of secrets. I'm just not very good at keeping them.
No.
Oh, I like you.
And this one right here, this is Nixeris. He does not have a. He tries to keep it as straightforward as possible.
She will see you, and then she'll go, "Oh my god, you're so pretty."
Thanks. I like the pink. It's very pink. Nixeris Varus. And she'll just shake normally.
And she'll go, "Thanks. I trying to see if I'm vibing it out to see if I really want to do it because that's permanent. But it's fine. But I'm glad you like it. I will mark that on my yes, please do list. So then that will, maybe go one way or another. So you can all call me Patty. I do have a full name, but that's really boring. And we're not here for business. We're here for fun. So it's just Caddy.
So, Patty, did Darius kind of fill you into what we were looking for around Omega, or?
Yeah, so that's a huge downer. I'm sorry that that's happening, but I think we can maybe try to find her. She's just really, not to be mean, she's kind of plain looking, so it's really hard. But we're really looking for her. So, I mean, I can kind of give you a couple spots that people think they've seen her. But I haven't talked to her myself. I haven't seen anyone talk to her. But she's elusive.
Yeah, she's trained.
I can tell.
But you did say you could probably places you think they might have spotted her. That's more help than nothing at all. So I appreciate the efforts, any way, shape, or form.
I mean, yeah, I owe you. You do so much around here that I'm like, oh my god, just one to tick off on my little Darius list. I still have like 3 more favors to go. But that's fine. Who's counting? My accountant. That's who's counting.
He looks over what I'm assuming is a Solarian accountant.
Rude. I have to roll for it because I don't know if I want that to be true.
Darius,
Wait, hang on. Let's play my game. High or low?
Low.
Okay, low. It's a Solarian. It's a Solarian, huh?
It was either going to be Solarian. I was going to say Solarian or Volus. I don't know why. Those were the two that popped into my head.
I was going to pull out a Vorcha just to really get you. Money! But... Anyway, though, you all look like you've been traveling a little bit, and Omega's real harsh. So, do you want to stay here while we figure out exactly where she might be, and then you can all go off and do your own thing. But you have to come back and say goodbye, or I'm gonna be really upset.
By upset, do you mean you're gonna keep sending me messages until I do eventually come back and say goodbye?
No, I'm gonna put a bounty out. Duh.
Why would you send so many people to their deaths?
I'm not gonna say or dead. I'm just gonna put alive, and then you have to come back.
No, well.
It's worked before.
It actually says a lot about me that my first instinct would be to kill them all. Okay, I will remember to come back and say hello. Or
No,
goodbye.
goodbye. Because you already said hello. Duh. Get with the program.
All right, Caddy.
And she's gonna look over. Oh, go ahead.
I was saying, and he was gonna look over and be like, "Are we all good with waiting around while we get an exact location?"
I mean, we do have another place to go, and kind of like looks at Adrana to correct Nyx. I don't see why we can't come back around.
Adrana is gonna. You have somewhere I can dash up for a little bit. Something. Can I get up on the roof?
What'd you say?
I only need 5 minutes.
I didn't hear the first part.
Can I get on the roof?
You wouldn't be able to see it from this area. You would have to go to the Blue Suns area and get up on a roof to try to find them, because you are in a completely different sector now. But what I was gonna say is that if you want to come back, you'll be fine. I'll just give you a little temporary stamp so you'll be able to get back in. Just like, be really careful when you wash your hands. We're still trying to figure out the formula.
I heard if you do it,
Please
on the wrist, works out.
Please put it in a place where they can still wash their hands, Caddy.
Wrist.
Yeah, Adrana will just show their wrist.
Where's
Same.
Worq getting his?
Oh, on the rest, yeah. Whatever,
Alright.
like just mostly in a suit. Not very many places you can put it.
Forehead, duh. No. So someone will come around and you see this like little tech ink pen, and you'll see a on the Omni tool, like it almost makes a stamp, and they will stamp it in the area. It's almost like a blacklight, just like a little blacklight stamp. So you don't see it immediately, but if it's held up to the right light or to an Omni tool, then temporarily you are given access into locations where the Nada de Luna are allowed.
Nice.
While they go compile the information, let's take a little break.
Yeah. Thanks so much,
Awesome.
y'all. We will be back in about 10 minutes or so. So stick around, listen to the lo-fi Citadel and Omega beats in the meantime. Hello, folks, and welcome back to Feywild and Out, where we're playing Mass Effect with Mass Effect Mirage, Episode 3! We've done some awesome stuff, but I'm gonna hand it on over to Serenity to kind of do a quick, what happened before the break, before we hop back in.
Last time on Mass Effect Mirage, before the break, we had the gang finally arrive to Omega after a couple of fun NPC communications that we had. Two people have communication and informants and someone to talk to on this space station. And we've met one, Caddy, who is the catty Asari, leader of the Nada de Luna, that has taken up at least a fourth of the Omega space station in hopes of one day there's no different quadrants. As we met her, we could see that their methods are spontaneous, to say the least. But Caddy was more than happy to go ahead and help you out to figure out where the Alliance military personnel may be hiding, as there may be a couple of ideas that Caddy is putting together at this moment. So Adrana has a different connection for secret special information. And everyone's been given fun little nightclub tattoos or stamps, so you could always come back here if you want to, but you're free to leave if you wish to go elsewhere.
Keep the wristband. Don't wash off the. No.
Everyone put it on their wrist, so they're not going to wash it off.
Yeah.
Wash your hands, even though it's 4,187 in this. Be safe.
I think that Nyx is least of the mind of we no downtime, does not want to be on Omega more longer than need be. So if the
Yeah, Adrana agrees.
Fair.
Darius is literally at home, so he's fine.
shit.
The gunpowder. No, there's no gunpowder. The bullet, the smell of guns firing in the air is kind of lulling. But for the group, you are able to get your information fairly quickly. It just takes a couple of, I'd say probably about an hour of Caddy working, but you are there. You can stay there. Everyone seems to be working really hard. However, I was going to say probably for Adrana, the Turian who was in the fight, she will definitely give Adrana a nod after, she had yelled in front of everyone to help her out. But nothing really too exciting happened at this point because now they are in mercenary mode. Coming back with the information, Caddy will communicate that there are 3 possible places that she could be in this moment. She could either be at Afterlife, in the neutral zone. She could either be in the markets, but not the normal markets, but the black markets, the illegal goods market, that are in the neutral zone still, but they do transfer over into the Blue Suns territory about halfway through. There's a very odd break in between there, but they're not sure in what portion they could be in if they are there. And then the last spot that they have is going to be a safe halfway house that is in their territory. They don't typically go and touch safe houses unless it's just to bring general supplies for people, because Darius would know a lot of people who are in these halfway houses and homes are either coming from other mercenary groups, and this is their time to adjust and to stay safe, or it's from people trying to get away from bad things one way or another. Uh, it is a vetting center, but they don't try to get too much into people's lives there as they are trying to adjust.
Right. And also, I would also add on probably the folks that. This goes back into Mass Effect 2, where you meet the Quarian who was on his pilgrimage and just ran out of credits and couldn't get off of Omega. I feel probably if we've established this as a semi-safe zone, folks that just kind of got stranded here but are still trying to get off and don't want to get shot because they were just in the wrong spot and people got into an argument, they most likely come here too.
Yeah, the whole goal is for general inclusivity and cohesion. So are they're not excited at the idea of people being there and then leaving Omega. However, they are happy to help how they can, especially if the person were to come back. Because in a worst case scenario, if they stay in the neutral zone, then they may be sought out or tempted to go to a different mercenary group where it is much harder to get out of.
Right.
So a lot of people like that. So those are the 3 places that Caddy says that they assume that this person would be at.
He says, Caddy, as always, you are more good to me than you should be.
I know.
I'm aware that you know. So, we have 3 locations. Perhaps, with another one of our contacts, we can probably narrow it down to at least just 2. Though, I believe everyone here works diligently enough. Those 3 locations is probably as good as we gonna get, but I'm aware that Adrana has someone that they would like to speak to as well.
If this was to Adrana, they kind of nod.
Yes.
But they're thinking like how much their contact is connected with who they're looking for.
But also, I believe you sort of hinted at the fact that your contact might not be as welcoming to a group of us versus just you. So would you like us to stay just in the general vicinity while you meet up, or are we okay to go with you?
They're in Blue Sun's territory.
How loud? When they say that, do ears perk up, obviously, in the room? Like, does the music stop and everyone stares, or is it just like a general thing? Okay.
It seems more like information, especially since you're stating an informant is there.
Gotcha.
I think they're
Okay,
more
gotcha.
interested
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
idea of like, what are they trying to get information off of? But it's not like a pause, you're working with someone from the Blue Suns. It's, oh, you need to go there. That sucks.
Gotcha. Okay, I understand that, but will they be more likely to give you said information if we were to hang back versus being all in a group like we are now? Not saying we leave
I
you on
think
your
if we
lonesome,
go into
but
a group-
just
No, I know, I understand. If I could get a little bit in, see where they are, get them to come to Afterlife, it would mean me stepping into their territory just to even look.
I like that idea.
But if it's... Well, then it's sealed. Where can I go and look?
is this towards me?
To Caddy, or
Oh.
the Adrana wants to go into territory, not to cause trouble, be very, very peaceful, but to just find their contact.
Patty will look at you and go, oh, I wouldn't go there if I was you, but if you really had to go, I think there's a couple of really tall buildings that they use for their, private security empire. So I imagine you'll be able to
Say-
get up there.
Tell me where.
And she will give you a couple of general ideas of where there might be some tall buildings in main areas that they won't check too heavily. But she is going to forewarn you at the idea that the Blue Suns are really kind of like anal about their area, so, and really protective. So her whole thing was just be careful, but here's what I got.
If this will pull their contact away from there, just to be a little safe, Adrana kind of does that nod, just like, yeah, they always are.
Adrana, are we about to climb up a very tall building just so you can get a general location of your contact?
You don't have to. I just need to.
Darling, if you think I'm going to let you... I'm not going to say let. That's the wrong term.
Is
If
there
you think I'm
a
just going to
problem?
leave you... Hmm?
Is there a problem?
Well, climbing buildings in one of the most strict, I would say, they're probably the most strict mercenary group, and if you were to get caught, it could cause the entire group to come down on your head, and by proxy, our heads, because I ain't gonna let you go down by yourself, because we are a group now. So, just want to make sure, how do we want to approach this? I'm sure you can get in and out alone fairly well, but it's also a gigantic building. There's multiple ways to get into or on top of a building. You could take a taxi to the top and just drop down. You want to take the stairs? You want to take a lift? Or how do you propose?
How
we
I
do
get
this?
to the top, I promise you. I'll figure it out.
All
It's-
right.
If you all wanted to join me, I'm trying to avoid all of you coming with me or straight into the territory to talk to them.
Oh, that's what I was at. But that's what I've been asking you. Do you want us to come with you? Or do you not want us to come with you?
Do you want to walk into that territory?
Of course.
I walk where I go. Where I grew up, this is my hometown. I go where
They
I
just
feel
look
like
at
going.
Nyx like, if we're okay walking in there, then let's walk in there.
I mean, or if you feel like we could wait for you at Afterlife while you do this, or somewhere nearby, just waiting to, rush in.
I mean, I would prefer we meet them in Afterlife because what is the human saying? Killed two birds with one stone. If we have to check there anyways.
Agreed.
But if
True.
seems safer to walk into Lucen's territory, however deep we have to go, then that works as well. But just a building. How territorial can they be? She kind of just
Adrana gives a like a
chuckles a
big
bit.
smile. Yeah. And
Why don't-
they
yeah.
have their hands near their head, like they're thinking like all the different options. Aligning. I picked tall building. This should be quick.
Work. What are you thinking?
All building works for me.
All right, it's settled then. But I don't want to take a taxi back here twice. And Nyx will kind of like nod over to Caddy, knowing that they'll have to come back to say goodbye. So, safe house first, then tall building, then I don't know what the third and fourth stop will be, but that makes it idea. You know, it just dawned on me. Is there a like unspoken agreement in Omega that all these gangs have to reference moons and systems and the suns, the eclipse, Luna? Is that on purpose
other one is-
or?
What is the blood?
Well,
pact?
the other one's the blood pack.
Yeah. The
Yeah.
blood pact is-
I don't think they got the memo, but 3 is kind of more than a coincidence. Huh.
No, I just really like the name, and it's like, oh god, what do you guys call that really old language? You know, Darius, like really old. You know,
Latin?
like what is it?
Spanish, Latin.
No, Latin.
Okay.
Yeah, it's Latin. It's fancy.
Sparrow knew exactly where you were going with that. Worq wouldn't have had a fucking clue.
Yeah, no.
Works like
Adrana was just like,
I like to watch some
Little bit of
sitcoms, but
human.
I'm not a humanaboo. Like weeaboo, but human.
He goes,
Mm.
huh, crazy.
Darius goes, little bit of human history. Latin was a dead language before we discovered life outside of the human race. So
Yeah, really,
the fact
really,
that you
really
delved that
old.
deep, the fact that you delved that deep shows how diligent of a student you truly are.
No, just the name I wanted wasn't very fancy without it being in Latin. It's also one of my favorite
tried to-
things, but you know
I
what? It's
tried
fine.
to
It's whatever.
zhuzh it up for you, but okay.
I did just fine. But y'all have fun. I'll be here. If you need me, let me know. I'm not afraid to bust some heads.
Is the body still down in the pit, or did it get
Yup.
carried out?
No, still down there.
He just kind of looks over the railing and goes, "Oh yes, I'm aware. You know that's gonna eventually start to stink, right?"
I've been busy. Also, they cheated. So, like, they're not my first priority. You're my first priority. You should feel really special.
I can't tell if you're just trying to be flattering or flirting.
Yes.
It's always
Like,
both
chill out.
sometimes. Always both.
It's more fun. Look, it's been kind of stale since you've left. Not gonna lie.
Well, I am a walking good time, Caddy. We both know that.
I know, that's why you have to say goodbye. And then, if I get bored, or if you don't do that, I'm gonna put a bounty on your ass. So, it's fine. So, have fun, be safe. I'm not gonna say don't get into a fight, because that's hypocritical. But, bye!
Thanks.
I
and
give Caddy a hug before we walk out.
She's gonna
And
give
I
you a
just
hug
whisper
back.
in her I whisper in her ear. They'll be dead before they ever get to me. I don't know how that would work, but it's gonna be a thing.
No, I like that. That's such a vibe. Go, Darius, go. Like, that's what you all hear. It's just like a whisper, and like, no, that's a vibe. Go. You hear like a yas queen,
And he does. And before he pulls away, he after the whole like they'll be dead before they get to me for the bounty hunter thing. He says, "And thank you again," and he kisses her on the cheek.
Aw.
yeah, she's like I think she'll present her cheek like she fully expected it to happen,
Mm-hmm.
and she accepts it, and she's very happy about it. And then she waves you all off.
You
Unless you want to
do
say
know why she didn't say anything about getting into fights, right?
Wow.
Why?
The Omega Boy doesn't know.
I'm curious as to what your thought process is. It can't all just be me.
You don't bring
Oh,
a Krogan in your crew if you expect not to get in a fight.
I have met at least 2 Krogan poets. Don't paint yourself in a corner like that, Worq.
Name them.
I was about to make up
Oh
some
yeah, you're
names.
a
Hold
fan
on.
of Krogan. Name two
The
Krogans.
name I was the thing I was about to say is actually was a name from my backstory, and it wouldn't have worked.
I would have looked it up, and I would have went, no.
Why you lying?
Why
Inside
you
joke.
lying? I like the idea that he doesn't answer, though. Like, a
Le-
lot.
Lurs Werlock. The Werlock clan is a real thing.
He opens up his Omni tool.
There's Werlock. And oh, this thing is on the fritz. It needs an update. Oh, we're going to a tall building.
Let's stop by that.
Just-
What is it? Safe house.
Worq
first.
Work shoots Nyx a look like this motherfucker.
This kind of gives a look back. That's
Just-
just like, don't put me in this.
Yeah,
Oh.
Adrana's already kind of moving towards the Turian. Like, oh, do I know you?
Anyways,
No, they're like, they look and they see that there's like a conundrum. They're like,
Great.
so stopping by the safe house first.
if
Mhm.
is what folks want, but that is definitely what Nyx wants to do.
Yep.
That. So assume that Darius would
Yes.
know where that is.
Yes.
It's also put like it's given to you like the
Oh
coordinate.
yeah.
So they made it as easy as possible for what they could do. It's not perfect, but they did as good as they could. I would like you all, because you are more than welcome to walk into the safe house. It's an area where people can come in and out as they please. So I would like you all to make your own checks to see. You can use, investigation, perception. But if you have other things you'd like to roll to see if you can try to figure out if she's here, I'm more than happy to hear it out.
That's a 17 from the Krogan on a perception check.
Perfect. That might noggin.
That is a
15
nat
for-
20 from me for a total of 27 for perception.
Okay.
15 from Adrana for perception.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is I don't know if this is going to be annoying, but Nyx not really great at that kind of thing. So she kind of wants to like question people around, not like inside there. So if no, I think that maybe she's just kind of waiting to see what is gleaned from just surroundings, and then if they need more follow-up information, then she's happy to assist.
I think you would get more information and different information if you did it the way you're going to do it.
Okay.
So if you'd like to do that as well, then depending on the number, that could garner different information.
Okay. Would that be because she's kind of just not really intimidating? Just be like, "Hey, I'm looking for this person." Maybe even sometimes being like, "I lost somebody." I'm sorry to roll it back a little bit. What was the information about this person that went missing again? Besides the fact that they just kind of like they got back, and basically requested a big paycheck to leave, and then pieced out. Was there any other types of information that we know about that person?
You know generally what they look like,
Okay.
so you'd be able to give a description. You know their rank. They were an ensign officer. You also know they are on Omega, and they've been on Omega a month or less, but just around that amount of time. So it's pretty recent that they've been on here. That is the most of the information that you'll know.
Gotcha. Yeah, in that case, then yeah, she will probably just use like persuasion in that case, not really deception or anything like that. Not yet, at least. Just in general
Not
asking question. Yeah,
Sure,
so
go ahead and
I
roll.
will roll for that. That is that would be what is 8 plus 7? 15? 15.
Okay, 15 is still pretty good. So for the 15, we're gonna start with that because it is a little lower, and the other one has a nat 20, so you're gonna get so much information. So from the 15, what you can garner is people have seen someone who looks similar to her, but they can't guarantee that that's the correct person. For a lot of aliens, they're going to state the very obvious of, I don't know, humans all look really similar. I don't really know. So they kind of give you a maybe. Some humans will go yes, some will go no, but they don't give more specifics than that. Especially with this being a halfway home, they're really careful about giving out the information. For the perception checks, there's a lot of stuff that people are going to see, especially Darius, because Darius, would it be improper of me to assume that you've spent time here at this location?
It would not.
Okay. So, I'm going to say you know it. The building hasn't changed much. There have been some updates, but it's not very well kept. It's a community center. It's a community housing. It is kept up to the extent of what they can afford and what they are willing to put into. Looking around, I would say you begin to look in some areas that you know people have hidden before. People who are really scared of being in a. They know they're in a safe spot, but want to be somewhere a little bit more secluded so people won't know to just go knock on a door or go somewhere like that. So you begin to look at the places that you know people have hidden. And I'm going to say specifically the one that leads you to a certain location. You remember when you were here on Omega, and there was a human child that was having a really hard time adapting, adjusting. They had lost their parents and they were being taken care of by a family member that was sorry, so having a really hard time fitting in. And they're just kind of someone that you remember to an extent. They didn't tell you their name, they didn't really have that form of connection with you, but you do remember that the Asari was terrified that she'd lost a child. Taking it upon yourself, you went and found the boy, and he was hiding in a really smart place. It looked like there was an area under the stairs, but there was no way to access it. So going around the back into the bathroom, you began to look around, and you saw that there was a way that uh, the walls sat to where you could push something in, and there was not a way to look into the bathroom, nothing weird like that, but a way to get into that crawl space and a way to stay safe. And you saw the boy in there, and it didn't look like it was used fairly often. However, your mind immediately goes to where someone in hiding, terrified for their life, based off of what you know, would go. And you go into that bathroom. You push on the door that is between the space of where the sinks would be. The stalls are a bit further in the back, and then the walkway. You push in on that space in the wall. It has not been fixed, and you open it up to see that someone had been living in it, but it doesn't look like they're currently still living in there. The rations that were there are about a week old, so they're not quite to the point of going bad, but they're to the point of stale and unusable for the opened ones. You see that there is a pillow and a blanket, and there are some written documents that are in. Uh, they're human. They're English. Um, so it's fairly reasonable for you to assume that it is either a human or someone who speaks English natively or well enough to write as in depth as they did. Um, the document begin to state nothing that seems factual. It seems to be a description of a dark swirling emotion. It seems to be like a heaviness and a blankness that they have found and they can't get out of themselves. It feels more therapeutic and emotional than physical.
Okay. So basically, I just found like a portion of their personal journal where they're trying to document how they're feeling at the moment. Gotcha. I make note of it. Actually, no. I will take the documents, but I do not I don't reveal them to anyone because I could. This is something I can easily explain of just like, hey, I found a few of the personal effects. Nothing that shows where they would have gone. Just some stuff that seemed personal to this person. Just that, oh, they were here, and should we find them, I will return them to them. While we are here, does in terms of the upkeep of this place, does it seem like something that is in regards of they need a few extra credits to help update some stuff, or is it just the because it is a quick turnaround, there is nothing to be done about it because of the turnaround in this place?
It feels more like the building itself is in need of repairs, so it's nothing fast. It doesn't necessarily mean they don't have the money for it, but it
Yes.
just seems that it's something where you can't really assume exactly what the situation is, but you know the building is old, the building is used frequently, and the building isn't always looked into for privacy and adjustment's sake.
Right.
So it's a situation where people understand it's not going to be the best. It is nothing will like hurt anyone. It's not like there's live electrical wires or the lights don't particularly work. In some places, there are places like in hallways where they don't work, but in most like bedrooms that you see open or larger areas that big families had taken over, um, they have some sort of light source, and it does seem that the temperature is kept fairly consistent. Not necessarily warm, not necessarily cool, but consistent enough to where people can adjust as they need without racking up power. Um, so it's depressing, but it's
Darius just
workable.
Darius just figured out another one of those favors he can get from Caddy. Put a little bit more into this place. Uh, but that's another conversation. But he takes the info back to the group of just like, well, she was here. I found a few of her personal effects, but nothing that points us in a direction of where she is. But we do know she has been here, but she's no longer here. So we should move on.
But that means that
Big tall building next.
someone had to
If she
have.
left that, are you thinking what I'm thinking?
Probably.
Who leaves their personal effects around?
Someone who
Who?
needed to leave in a hurry.
You call me Daryl just now?
They
Somebody through. But
and
we have a psych profile. Like she is just in a scared state anyway, right?
Yeah, but
Based off of what you know, she was unwilling to speak to anyone about what happened. She was terrified about it. She did not she all she wanted was to get out and to leave.
Did though I found I know this will probably turn into more of an investigative thing, more so that less so than a perception thing. Did it seem like anyone else had found this spot, or was like the she? Does it seem like they were the last person in there because their stuff was still in there? It didn't look like it had been like the pillow, or it looked like possibly they might, or does it look like they might possibly return since their stuff was there and it was a hidden spot?
It doesn't look like there was a lot of stuff there. The things
Okay.
that were there were leftover rations that were half eaten.
Yes,
Some
you said
loose
they were stale.
papers. Yeah, some loose papers and then bedding that was there. The bedding seems to be given out by the staff and by the housing itself. Um, maybe like like some hair left behind, like maybe like a hair's like tie or something, like nothing intensive that's important. But if she had a bag, it's not there.
Gotcha. So basically, things that could her go bag is gone. The stuff that she was cool with being left behind got left behind because it genuinely doesn't tell us any information outside of just general emotions at the time.
It's
Gotcha.
very possible that that could have been an accident as well, based off of the way it was sprawled out. Like she had like
Right.
written book, and she picked it up and it fell out, and she just
Gotcha.
didn't turn back to get it, or she didn't notice it was gone. So it's not something that looks like it was purposefully left, but it doesn't necessarily mean she didn't not notice it was there or that she did know.
Gotcha.
But if someone's spooked, you know, and generally on edge, I mean, she left a while ago. Why run out of a safe house in a pretty well hidden area recently? Why then? Why not before?
Well, it could just be that she found a new place, or she's fallen back on her training and not staying in one particular place for too long because they can't find you.
Fair enough.
She is a trained soldier, after all. I'm honestly surprised there wasn't a mine. No, actually, no. There are children here. I'm actually not shocked there wasn't a mine there.
I mean, we know that
There are
the
innocents
Alliance...
around, so
The Alliance has done some questionable things, but I don't think that they would do that.
I don't know at all what you
Questionable
mean.
things, huh?
All militaries do.
Everybody does something questionable. Just depends what the answer is at the end of the day.
So, do we want to press people around here for more information? Because it seems like someone might have been lying. Or do we just want to move on?
Who might have been lying?
It's kind of improbable that of all the people I talked to around this place that no one have seen this person. And they were here. Had to get rations from
Well.
somewhere, get the bedding from somewhere.
I will say this: it's very possible that they were lying because this is the type of place where people go to pretty much not discovered in case someone is after them. Those who do get stranded here, but not of their own volition, or those who are trying to no longer do the things that they were once want to do here. Mercenaries who no longer want to be mercenaries, people who had to do terrible things that no longer want to do terrible things. This is that type of place. So it's very possible that they simply just didn't want to answer your questions, because why would they point you in the direction of someone who didn't want to be pointed in the direction of?
No, I totally get it. It's more so... I don't know. We could spend time on this and press people further, or we could just move on.
I leave it to you.
Worq?
It is a
Adrana?
group effort after all.
I'm a big fan of work smarter, not harder, so I can use my charms to talk to people, but if you don't think it's necessary, why do it?
Nope, I love that idea because otherwise, I'm gonna get to doing what I do best, and that won't be terribly conducive for finding the person. At least not initially.
It would be good to ask who is running this. Who gave them the rations? They would know a face.
Good point. Did Nixeris talk to that person when she did like kind of, or is it just people outside, like hanging around?
I would say you've talked to some volunteers
Okay.
or people that have worked here, but no one necessarily that has admitted that they handed her.
Adrana's looking for that, a person who has that face, who has like, they're in charge. They have that organization in their head. They're like purview, like they're just looking
Hired
over everyone.
non-profit worker energy. More so than
Gotcha.
the rest.
I would
Me.
say an insight would be fine.
You know,
Can
not
I
virtual dice.
make the case to assist because I talked to some of these people before, so we kind of
Yeah,
like
I'd say you would.
and that
Be,
person wasn't in charge.
your navigation would be real good.
That's
I got a
for me to
17 on the
roll?
first roll.
I was gonna say
again.
if you would like to me to like roll or for just an advantage for Adrana.
I would have Adrana roll again, and then just take whichever one's higher.
Okay, that's a 19 plus 7.
There. Okay.
26.
Yeah. You
Not
can
using that
fairly
virtual dice ever again.
you can fairly easily read the room of people, and you begin to look through, and you can go, this person lives here, is staying here, is coming to stay here, is moving out. Like, you are fairly easy to read with how these people are. Then you get to the volunteers and the people who work here. You do see a Batarian who is holding out blankets for someone new. But they seem to be like very specific in the way they're doing it. Almost like not militaristic, but very like organized about how they're holding it. And they hand it to a woman, so a Krogan woman and a small Krogan child. And we'll hand them 3 sets of blankets and pillows to try to compensate for them. And
Do
then
I
Mhm.
do I recognize this Batarian at all?
Why would you recognize this Batarian?
Oh, there's a specific Batarian that Worq is aware of is all. That's all.
Yeah. Look, let me see if you recognize a specific Batarian.
But at least for Adrana, they have their hand
You-
up again, and they're doing that thing where it's like, if it was a HUD or something, where it's just like do 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 do, and just her muttering under her breath, aligning. And oh, hello.
I think Nyx picks up on the like where that line of sight is for Andrana and kind of nods. And we'll probably wait and see what Work's body language is, if they recognize this person or not before going over.
You do not recognize this Batarian.
Okay.
This Batarian is calculated but not cruel about what they're doing. Just they're very focused. And then you hear them say, so you're gonna go down to the first door on the left, take a right, you're gonna go up the stairs, and then pick any of the rooms that suit you. Be safe. Let me know if you need anything. The Krogan woman will nod, thank, and then take a little hand behind the small Krogan Bab that is doesn't understand where they are, but is excited to be there, and is very like bouncily, like walking down the hall, excited that they're going to a new place. And yeah, so they are now free if you'd like to talk to them.
I think.
Okay.
Adrana.
Oh, go ahead.
Ooh, we all jumped.
No.
I think now knowing that this particular Batarian isn't the one that he's on alert for, he relaxes slightly. I mean, Nyx, if they're paying attention, they might see his shoulders just come back just a little bit. But he's still kind of like activated, if that makes sense. And he is making an effort to like stay a little bit ahead of the group. That's all.
knowing Nyx had talked with people outside, Adrana would let them go ahead of them. For you, Serenity, Adrana will want to do an insight for what they respond to. Pretty much in the back, just like that, like cute little wave again.
So cute. Let me know when you roll, and let me know, let me know when you're like,
It'll be
I'm gonna
after.
roll insight. So yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, are you want to do after everything, or do you want to do it?
No,
like,
no.
pendant?
Nyx is good at this. So Adrana wants them to go talk to them, and they're watching them, like just like, hey, we're just here, and doing insight.
Love it. Nyx, you see the Batarian. They seem to be dressed in, it seems like pretty casual clothing. But they do seem to have a small badge that shows the Luna symbol. They are actively working, unless you would like to approach, or until you.
Yeah, I think that the way the Nyx approaches is kind of, especially for the folks who've been traveling with Nyx for a while, her entire, like, way that she's holding herself and demeanor kind of changes to be not necessarily as small as possible, but the kind of, like, I hate to make it, kind of melts in a way to be the most approachable that an Asari still in her armor can be. So that's kind of like how she's like gonna slide in and not necessarily like be face to face and hold up the line, but kind of slide next to the Batarian in a way, and try to talk to him while also seeing if they can help essentially with these like handing out of things.
I think as you do that, they give you a look. They very quickly realize you are not someone who is in need of help, and if you are like helping like present things midway through, they will just nod beside them, and you'll see blankets that need to be folded.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going behind anywhere. It's just like these tables are lined up, and that this laundry that was done needs to be folded. And we always accept volunteers. Thank you.
Happy to help while I'm here. I'm sure that you've noticed that me and a couple of these other folks don't really look like we're usually around here, and we're not. I'm not going to be here to lie to you, but we are looking for somebody.
Everyone's looking for someone.
We have reason to expect that they might be either in danger or have information. We're not here to compromise the safety of everything, but it would be really appreciated if you have any information about this person, or this point us in a general direction. We do have with us a member of your esteemed organization as well, so I'm sure that Patty would also kill us if we meant harm. Would you be open if I at least showed you a picture of the person we're looking for?
I see a lot of people, but if they're in need of help, I'm willing to do what I can.
And she'll gonna like pull up on her Omni tool the picture, real quick, like pause the blankets. Seemed that this person might have been kind of hanging out underneath the stairs, if that jogs your memory too.
I don't know what you mean by the stair. Completely blocked off. And then they will look at the picture showed. And as they look, see. They look like most humans.
This human would have probably been very Alliance focused, maybe a bit skittish.
A lot of them are skittish.
Look,
especially around a Batarian.
fair enough, but... And she'll kind of like weigh her options, like what she can and cannot say. if they have information that could keep a lot of the people that you look after potentially safe, that's all we want to do, is to talk to them.
All I know is people leave of their own volition. No one gets in here that can take people away. Not if I have anything to say about it, and I do. So if this person left, they left on their own.
Did they talk about any place that they wanted to go, or frequented
Like I
a couple
said,
other places?
most humans look the same. Some of them are talkative, some of them aren't. This one didn't give me any. Go ahead. This one didn't give me any particular words. If they similar in any of the other ones. Most of them don't like to talk. They just want to get what they want and then leave. And they'll ask me real nice if they need help. About it. What'd you get?
I'm 16.
16?
So their passive insight is 17, though.
Oh, you can just do passive. That's fine. You just do active.
When the Batarian talks about humans being like selfish, Worq shoots another look at Nyx just for a second, and then then turns away.
Moz, you don't see anything out of the ordinary.
Next, I think, kind of as subtly as she could, probably look up because she knows everyone in the whole group's listening to this, and she's not trying to be super secretive, just under respectful of the space. See if anyone has like any body language that they're like, no thanks, or yeah, they're telling the truth. So she would probably get that from Adrana, in that case. And finish folding probably just a couple more blankets. Well, if you see them again, then you can probably send me a message here, and we'll share contact info.
I know how to get a hold of Katie. Katie can get a hold of you. I apologize, I'm too busy to make house calls.
Important stuff. Just don't lose that good old Batarian spark. Good luck.
I would like everyone to make me an investigation.
Hell yeah.
No, perception. I'd like everyone to make an active perception.
Oh, damn.
Changed
6.
3 times. I don't trust it.
18.
23.
23.
Okay. Worq and Adrana don't see it. It was Nyx and Darius that got 23, right?
Yes.
As the Batarian turns away, there's a little tug on their sleeve. It seems to right up a bit. You see along their skin, there seems to be a tattoo that is black and pretty amorphous, except for a couple of, it looks like tendrils in this blob that seem to flow in a certain direction. That is all you see before they pull down, readjust their shirt, and go back to offering blankets and pillows.
Hey, can you tell me once again what was in those passages of the diary that I found?
Black, terrifying, just nothing. The abyss. It's words of terror, of nothing, of lack thereof.
I feel like my homage board has a camera on it. I take a photo of this guy, but I make it like. But while I'm doing it, can I make a deception check to make it look like I'm doing something else? Or while he's walking. But honestly, he's the dude that works here apparently, so I could just probably message Katie, or Caddy, excuse me, to be like, keep it the one working at this place, the Batarian. He might be into something that's got our target spooked. Weird tattoo might be a sign of another group he was a part of or is a part of now.
Do you want to take the picture, or do you just want to send him, or both?
I'll take the picture.
Go ahead and roll me your. You could either use sleight of hand, or you can use deception.
I'll use sleight of hand. It's better.
Okay.
Nat 14 for an 18.
They do not notice you taking a photo.
Yeah, and I send that to Caddy along with a message of keep an eye on this guy. I think he might be a part of whatever is happening. Just notice the tattoo and the diary passages, they cross over. There's too much crossover there.
You received back winky face, heart emoji, winky face. And with that, we will.
Darius accidentally sends a eggplant emoji. No, he doesn't do that.
Shit!
Lord help.
And scene.
You accidentally sent a Hannah emoji. No! All right. Thank you, everyone, for hanging out with us tonight. We will be back next week, I believe, and then after that, we're gonna have an itty bitty little break, right?
Yes, we
Is
are.
it- Okay, so we will be back next week. I was your navigator of the night. My name is Serenity. You can find me all over the internet as ClickClackSnac, she, Faye, any whatever pronoun. I do fun TTRPG stuff. You can catch me some Sundays. We've been a little inconsistent, but it's the time, it's the weather, it's the season. But for Tragedy of Theologian, some Sundays on Total Party Kiss. Just keep an eye out on our Twitter, and we'll let you know what's happening next. And hopefully, we'll have other things soon where we can go look at things. There's also some really fun projects if you want to go to my link tree. I'm actively doing some stuff. I've had some fun projects. I've had some fun projects here. What? Crazy. Go check out our stuff. Anyway, Sparrow?
Hi, I am your favorite burb on the interweb, aBlackSparrow. I am going to be playing a lovely game of Pathfinder over on Jared Hoy's channel. That is twitch.tv/therealgobshite. You can catch me there. I play a human monk named Tatum who has yet to say an actual word in that campaign. Has not said a single word. The most they've done is just an exasperated gasp. And then I stream over here on Twitch, twitch.tv/aBlackSparrow. You can find me aBlackSparrow most places. And then I'll be at PAX Unplugged. So come by and say hello. I would love to see you. I may have a small game for you to play that I learned from, I learned from good friend Glaza. I'll just say that. And we'll just say that. And if you run up on me and say hi and ask me about the game, then maybe you get to play. Who knows? But that's what I've got for you. And of course, I'm here at Feywild running things with the amazing Jade, but I'm actually going to toss it to Maz first.
Hi, I'm Moz. You can find me everywhere at It's Mozzarelle. I'm a voice actor. I run games over at Starcrawl RPG with my community. We world build on my stream on the weekends at Mozzarelle with the 3 L's over here at Twitch. But I'm also going to be at PAX. I'm really excited. It's my first time. Yeah. I'm. If you see me, you can please say hi. I would love to put a face to online friends. And next game that I'll be doing is over at Kaji Cantrips tomorrow. Before I go for a little break. Yeah, I think that's it. Okay, my brain was like, that's all I have. I'm gonna throw it over to Daryl.
Hello, I'm DarrylDorsey. You can find me most places at Mr_DarrylDorsey or just flat out DarrylDorsey if you're on bluer skies. Places you can find me here on Mondays. Please watch come back. Please come back. Tomorrow evening, currently, I believe it's our second episode of the 4-part series of Marvel Universe. We're playing over on Vancouver by Night. You can catch that tomorrow evening at 8 p.m. PST. Because, but as the name states, Vancouver by Night is in Vancouver, PST. You can also catch me on occasion on Ain't Got Crits channel whenever it is necessary for me to make my presence known as the Prince of Philadelphia uh, on Ain't Got Crit, because sometimes the Prince has to show up because everyone's messing up. You can also find me as the storyteller on my personal podcast, the Fang Gang Pod, which currently, due to weird stuff happening with the site that I upload on, is all the episodes are available on Spotify and for some reason nowhere else. And I'm working on getting them on all the other platforms that I need them to be on. I just uploaded the very last episode of our 2-year campaign of Vampire the Masquerade, of which you get to witness all of us learning how to play / run that game, because it was the first time everyone except for one player had ever played it. I had never run it. 3 people had never played it. And I was just like, you know what? We'll do it live. But I just uploaded the very last episode of that campaign, of that story. Go give it a listen if you enjoy people just cracking up at the table at everyone and way too much sexual innuendo. Pretty much just Vampire the Masquerade. I think that's all I got for now. So I'm gonna toss that over to Jade.
Hey y'all, I'm Jade Valkyrie. I use she, they pronouns, and you can find me like most places. Most places is at Jade Valkyrie. But Twitch and what's it called? Blue Sky. It's Jade Valkyrie with a 3 at the end. Make sure that you're following the right channels on Blue Sky. Always check. Always check. That's all I'm gonna say. And also, I stream. I'm a content creator. I also make YouTube channel. Oh, no, YouTube channels. I also do that. I also make YouTube videos and channels. I do both. Right now I'm yapping about Dragon Age in particular, as well as some funny Baldur's Gate stuff is coming up as well. But other than that, yeah, I think the best place to figure out where I do all the shit is it's a lot of things I do. I'm trying to cut down on it. It's just to follow my social media, and then you can figure out like, oh shit, Jade's doing another thing. I might like that. But yeah, I mean, you can also find me here all the time, because I'm also one of the co-founders here. And I think that's it for my tabletop projects, as well. So we are going to go ahead and end out the stream because I think that's it, right? Serenity already went, so we're going to end the stream here. Thanks so much. And also in the chat, please wish Serenity her happy early birthday before we head out and raid somebody. Because Faye's birthday is on Wednesday.
Happy early birthday. We're so excited.
Yay, yay, yay.
Gotta be old.
Old, old, old. But stick around. We are going to raid a creator. We're going to figure that out soon. And we will see you all next week for the last episode before our winter break. So take care of yourselves. Until next time. Bye.